Hey guys, it's Kitty, and yes, I'm doing a voiceover for the first time in a really long time. If you're just here to watch the speed paint, feel free to mute me, and if not, buckle the fuck up, because I'm just gonna ramble. But yeah, if you're watching this, you probably know that I do art full time, and if you stumbled into this at random, maybe you do art full time, and you're just looking for some help. I want to talk about burnout a little bit. Like, I'm just, oof, buddy. But yeah, for the uninformed, for the past couple of years, my entire life has revolved around not only making art as much as I can, but running everything business wise to get my art out there, whether it be YouTube videos or my Patreon page or promoting on Facebook and Instagram or running my web store or coding things or packaging things. Like, it's my entire life, and maybe only about 25% of that time is spent making art. I know outside of the kind of bubble of artists and creative folks, people will assume that when someone says, oh yeah, I do art for a living, that they just paint or they just draw or they just make things. Like, that's it. And I I don't know. I haven't met really anyone that does that. I know a lot of us, at least on the very small end of things, we run absolutely everything from top to bottom in addition to whatever content we're making, which is awesome. Creative folks are super duper driven, and if there's a will, there's a way, and we'll fucking go in sideways and get shit done. But a lot of the time we forget that we have to take care of ourselves, and like maybe it's because you're like, oh, I work at home, or oh, I'm doing this. Like, you think somehow that it's less of a job, or you think, oh, well, I'm just making art, I'm not like doing backbreaking labor or something. But manual labor or not, when you realize that you've been working on something for 6 to even 12 hours a day for days on end and you haven't given yourself a day off, it's not a great feeling. No, within the art community as a whole, we kind of romanticize working ourselves to death, if that makes any sense. Whether it's, oh, I totally just gave myself carpal tunnel, I'm working so hard, or, oh, I never sleep, I'm working so hard, or, oh, I didn't have time for lunch, so I'm just gonna drink coffee until I die. Yeah, that's not good. It is awesome to be driven. I know a lot of us will throw ourselves entirely into a project and forget about basic needs, and I mean, if that happens every once in a while, cool, but if you're doing that all the time, no. For the love of God, no. Like, that's why I'm rambling right now. I've made blog posts about it in the past, I've yammered on Facebook about it, but even talking about it, I still personally don't really get the gravity of the situation of burnout that often, because again, it's years and years and years of anyone talking about being an artist, and I'm like, oh, so you're gonna work yourself to death, and that's applauded. And yes, it's great to have a good work ethic, it's great to bust your ass doing something you love, but you also have to unlearn a little bit of that to take care of yourself. Like, very, very, very consistently, I have never really been good at setting limits or pacing myself when it comes to my work, because I just want to go and do art, or I just want to go and put promo together in Photoshop for 3 hours at 2 in the morning. Like, if I don't do it, no one else is gonna get it done for me, so I'm like, yeah, why not? Sounds great. But, sometimes, like right now, I stop really enjoying it, and that sucks, because art for me has always been like my favorite thing in the world. You can ask my mom, when I was first learning to write, I made myself a little certificate and I declared myself like queen of art. But when you keep pushing yourself that hard and you don't care that you're burnt out and you keep going and you just, I don't know, run yourself into the ground, yeah, it's, no, like, my main problem is I'll stop making art for me, or art for fun, and I'll just start focusing way too much on what other people might want from me, what will make sales, what will get in front of more eyes, and that's really draining. Like, imagine that your one fun hobby is now sucking the life out of you, but also it's your job, so you have to do it. And that's where I'm at. Like, I know I'm not great at words, but I'm hoping any of that made sense. Like, I've said, oh, I hate doing art. Art isn't fun anymore, more times in the past few months than I ever have, and that's fucking horrifying to me. But, yeah, I know that I was like, oh, let's talk about Burnout, but that's only half of what I'm talking about here, if that makes any sense. So what I actually wanted to make this video about is having fun, and making art for art's sake. Like, okay, hear me out, this isn't gonna sound like it connects to anything, but a couple of weeks ago, my best friend and I stumbled onto what I've now been calling Goat Neopets. It's a site called Goatlings where you can raise goats and make them pretty and fight them like Pokemon, but they have a pretty cool avatar system like Gaia Online used to have before their economy went to shit. And that's where the little ghoul that I'm drawing in the background here came from. I'd been going on the site super late at night to wind down, and honestly, those little half-hour breaks where I'm just playing with goats and I'm not thinking about anything creative have been fucking great. But I do kind of guilt myself into trying to do something productive or creative when I should be taking breaks. Almost every post or whatever that I've read talking about burnout, it's very much, oh, take a step back, oh, don't do anything for a little bit, oh, watch TV, oh, read a book. But I have a really hard time doing that. If I go and I'm doing something that is very much not productive, I will have a voice in the back of my head being like, hey man, you should be doing art right now. Shouldn't you be practicing? Shouldn't you be doing this? And that's turned in a lot of my downtime into me sketching stuff, me learning stuff, me practicing stuff, which would be fine if I didn't immediately take whatever I was working on and turn it into a piece to sell, because I couldn't shut off that part of my brain saying, oh, I'm just making art for me. But yeah, back to goats. I threw this little character thing together the other night. I didn't announce that I was going to be streaming. I just kind of hopped on Twitch and I let myself draw. I shut my microphone off, and without really having to worry about interacting with anyone or worrying that whatever I was coming up with looked good, or worrying about translating it into a print and just having fun kind of digging into it, I had so much fun. Like, I've been trying to get back into digital art because it's something I haven't done for years, but when I've been streaming it, I'm so focused on what other people are seeing versus what I'm working on that it kind of fucks with it. But yeah, I had a lot of fun doing this, and the more that I thought about it, and the more that I realized I hadn't done anything silly or art for myself in months, I was horrified. Like, even though I cater to my own aesthetic taste with the work that I do, there's always that little voice about, oh, you need to polish this enough to put it up in the shop. Oh, you should stick to something that will get in front of more people. Oh, whatever, like that type of shit. And I mean, that's great. It's good to worry about your livelihood like that, but that's not what I needed to do at this point in time. What I needed to do was cut myself a goddamn break. So I did, and it was awesome. It's by no means the greatest thing that I've ever made, but it felt good. It felt really good to just dick around for a couple hours and draw some edgy teenage bullshit that I couldn't even, it was just fun, and I didn't worry about anything, and goddammit, I had fun. But yeah, so I don't know. I'm not sure if that type of feeling will resonate with anyone but me, but if you're someone that has that little nagging voice in the back of your head when you're trying to actually cut yourself some slack and not do anything, that's like, hey man, why don't you do something productive? If you absolutely feel like you have to be creating, just cut yourself a break. Go doodle. Like, if you have trouble letting go and taking that step back from art to go rest, do something silly. Don't practice. Like, do not be like, oh, I need to hone this skill. Let me go do this. It'll help my art. Like, don't even worry about fundamentals and nonsense like that. Go do something ridiculous just for you. Like, bust out a giant box of crayons and draw on a fucking paper bag. Like, bust out the coloring books, draw on napkins, take out a bunch of glitter glue and make a collage for no reason. Like, do something fun that you like doing just because you want to. Not creating because you feel like you have to. Because, I don't know, I felt a lot better going back to work after working on this than I ever have when I go and try to take a break and nag myself the whole time. But yeah, I don't know if that has made a whole lot of sense to you guys. I hope it did. Maybe I'll do more weird art ramble videos. But, yeah, in the meantime, I think I'm gonna be having to take a real break soon because my usual summer vacation time is getting close, which I only know because I've felt like absolute shit towards my art lately. So, there's your reminder to know yourself and know your limits, but don't feel bad about having fun every once in a while. Oh my god, how dare you have fun. But yeah, as always, thanks for watching, yada yada, see you guys later, subscribe if you really feel like it, and if you're curious about the whole goat Neopets thing that I didn't describe well at all, I'm gonna post my Goatlings link in the description of this video so you guys can come hang out with me and we can be the least productive people on earth and just have some fun. Okay, bye!